Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be going over how to download and install Pokemon Infinite Fusion on your Mac. Because of the latest version of Mac, it actually updated and broke the way you installed it previously with Wineskin. So in this video I'm going to be going over how to do it with just Wine. I am Megaman, the tech manager for Pokemon Infinite Fusion, so all the files that I do provide are authentic. If you want to double check and verify, go ahead and join our Discord and you will be redirected here once you look up the Mac guide. But let's go ahead and get started. I did put this here because currently there are people looking at the guide right now because they're trying to install it, but I'm just letting them know that I'm remaking the video because Mac broke it. But what we want to do first is let's go ahead and go through the prerequisites. So let's go ahead and install the Unarchiver. So what this will let us do is this will let us extract the files that we're going to need for the game files. The game files are in a .rar format because there's so many files, so you will need this tool here. So go ahead and either download it from the Mac App Store or from download and double click it and install, and that'll be quick and easy. It's very easy to do. The next thing you want to do is you want to uninstall Homebrew. So let's go ahead and copy this command and open up a terminal. To open up a terminal, go to Launchpad. At the very top, type in terminal, and it'll open it up for you once you hit enter, of course. So let's go ahead and paste that command here and hit enter. And if it says fail to locate Homebrew, that's exactly what we want. So everything's good. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure we uninstall Wine Stable if you have it. So let's go ahead and go to our Finder. Let's click on Application. Then from here, if you see Wine Stable here, go ahead and right click and move to trash because we won't need it anymore. So we want to download and install the latest version of everything, so that's what we're going to do. And the next step we're going to do is let's go ahead and get the game files from Google Drive. Once you click on that link, it'll take you here to Google Drive, and we can download it here in the top right or in the middle, and it'll start downloading this RAR file. It will always be the latest version of the game that's in this RAR file with all of the latest sprites and preloaded sprites all set up for you, because I wanted to make this very simple and easy for you guys to do, and you won't need to download anything else for the game. I just provide everything just straight up for you guys. And just the OS compatibility of your Mac, this might not matter anymore because, like I said, we're not using Wineskin, we're using Wine, which more computers are available to use and install Wine. So this might not matter anymore. I will update it as time goes on, but I'm just going to leave it here just in case it's still true. All right, so before we get to the installation of everything else, what we want to do is we want to click on Finder and click on Downloads, and let's go ahead and go to the RAR file. What we want to do is we want to right click it, hit Open With, and hit the Unarchiver, and this will start extracting this RAR file and creating this Infinite Fusion file or folder with all of our game files in it. This is 2.5 gigs. It'll probably be 3 once you extract it. So please give us some time to extract the files because it is a large, it's a large RAR with thousands and thousands and thousands of sprites. So just let it do its thing and it'll create this folder for you. So the first thing we need to do to continue the installation is let's go ahead and install in the terminal what we need to do. So let's go ahead and highlight this here for installing Homebrew and reopen up the terminal. Let's go ahead and paste that in here and press enter and type in your password. I almost said mine out loud right there, but this is the password you use to log into the computer. So type it in. When you type it in, it won't show anything on the screen. So just type it in and hit enter and it'll work. Next, it's going to ask you to hit return again. So let's hit enter again and it'll go ahead and go through the installation. Next is going to be all depending on what your computer says. I cannot give you the commands for this because the commands it provides is tailored for you. So once it is done, it'll say next steps. If you see this line here without anything in between that just says run brew help to get started, that means you've installed Homebrew before and everything's already set up for you. But in most cases, because this is the first time you're ever doing this, you'll see something like this in the documentation that I provide. You'll see something that says run these 2 commands or run this command in your terminal, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to run on your terminal. So from the very beginning, from the parentheses, like if you get this one, you copy this whole command all the way to the very end, copy that, paste it, and hit enter into your command prompt. Next, you would gonna do the same exact thing for the second command here. From eval all the way to the end, copy that and paste it in here. As I mentioned, it might be 1 command, it might be 2 commands, but it will directly tell you here on the terminal what you need to copy and paste. And this is going to be important. It's just unfortunate that every Mac model and Mac year and Mac version, it's a different command. So I can't put it in the document for you to just copy and paste it. You have to go ahead and copy and paste it yourself because, like I said, it is different for every Mac. So I just give some more information here in the documentation. Like if you get an error and stuff, I put all of this stuff in the documentation for you in case you get errors. But the next thing you need to do is you need to go ahead up and set up homebrew path. So let's go ahead and copy this here. And let's put this into the terminal and go ahead and paste it. If it says, path not found, make sure you look at this other command I put in for older models of Mac. But let's go ahead and go to our next step here, step 4. Copy this command and hit paste into the terminal and hit enter. And it'll go ahead and install Homebrew for Wine. As I mentioned, once again, sorry for being repetitive, but there's going to be more information down here on what to do if you cannot find the right path using that command. And once that's installed, it'll say tapped X amount of casks, and that's when you know it's going to be done. Now let's go ahead and go to step 5, which is pretty much the last step we need to do to install Wine. And let's go ahead and right click paste and hit enter. And it's going to ask for your password a little bit later on, so we're going to go ahead and need to do that in a little bit. But if you get an error here saying sorry, I can't read right now. It seems that there is already a binary at this location. I do put steps on how to troubleshoot that and make it available for you to download. So I am very good at debugging things because I've done this for so long that I have a lot of information here. So if you get an error, just please rely on the documentation because I spend a lot of time documenting everything and how to solve errors. But here on the screen on the terminal, it'll ask you for your password again, as I mentioned. So type that in and hit enter. And that should be the last time it asks you for your password. It'll go ahead and continue installing Wine Stable, and we should be done rather shortly. And there we go. It'll say Wine Stable was successfully installed, and it'll also say here winestable.app. And that is exactly what we want to see. So if we want to go back into Finder and go ahead and go to Applications, you will see Wine Stable now. So let's double click this just to make sure it opens up. And bam, Wine Stable is now open. And pay attention to what it says here because this is going to be important when you update in the future. As I mentioned, I already gave you the latest version of the game, but if you need to update in the future, this command here is going to be important because it determines whether when we want to open up and update, we type in wine into the terminal. It might say wine 64, it might say wine 32. It just depends on your Mac. So just please pay attention to what it says here because we'll use this later. All right, so now let's go ahead and go to our downloads folder again, and we're going to go to Infinite Fusion. Let's go ahead and open it up by just doing this drop down. Don't double click and go into the folder because I'll show you why later, but just go ahead and open it with this little thing and it'll come out as a drop down. And let's right click on Game.exe and hit open with Wine Stable. And it's going to start opening up the game. I am going to mute myself really quick just because I don't know if the game audio is going to be really loud. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself while this is loading. Okay, I'm going to unmute. And once you get to that title screen where it says version 6.1.3, go ahead and press enter and it'll take you to the main menu and bam, you're ready to play. If you want the screen size to be bigger, go ahead and go into options and go down until you see screen size. And from there you can resize your screen. All right, and that's pretty much it for installing the game. I'm going to show you two more things really quick. One is going to be how to update this. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. All right, so what we want to do is we want to hold down the control button on your keyboard and click here on the side of Infinite Fusion folder. It's important you have to click here and it'll give you the option of new terminal at folder. So go ahead and click that and you'll know it worked because it opens it in Infinite Fusion folder here. So what we want to do to update the game is remember back when we open up Wine Stable, it'll tell you what you need to run. So if I can go ahead and show you guys, it'll show us what command we need to run an exe file. So mine just says wine. If yours says wine 64, wine something else, that's what you need to do. So let me go back to my downloads folder really quick, just so it's easier to see. So for mine, I just have to type in wine, and what we have to type in is install, and what we can do is just press tab on your keyboard and it'll fill it in for you, and press return. And what this will do is it'll run the updater file and update your game to the latest version. So anytime there is an update, that's what you need to do. You need to hold Control, click to the side of Infinite Fusion, open up the terminal in this folder, type in wine, type in the file name of install, press tab, it'll fill it in for you and it'll run that file. So just wait for this to, finish up, and it'll update to the latest version of the game. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys is how to find your save file, because it is going to be a little bit tricky on how to find your save file. So let me go ahead and close this because it's now done. It'll say it is done, but also the important thing you want to find is here where it says head is now at blank blank blank. That's what let you know that you are on the latest version of the game. And if it asks you if you want to terminate, go ahead and terminate it and it'll close that. What you want to do to find your save file is I put the path here at the very bottom where is my save stored, and I put it here where your save location is. So what you have to do is you have to replace these two spots here with whatever name your computer is named. So whatever it is, that's what you need to put in there. So what you need to do is you need to copy this and hit copy. Then you need to open up Finder and press Command-Shift-G, and this will open up here. What you want to do is you want to hit paste this in and hit enter. And this will only work, as I mentioned, if you replace your name on these two locations with your actual name of your computer, and it'll take you to your save location. You will, of course, need to have a save file already created for that folder to be created. So make sure you create a save file first, and then you can navigate to that specific location. I'm not going to put it up because it's going to show my full name, so I'm not going to do it. But this is what you would need to do to find your save file. All right, but that's pretty much it, guys. I went ahead and went through the installation. This documentation will always be the latest version of the documentation. The video will get older as time goes by, so please make sure to trust what it says in this documentation because it'll always be up to date. And if you have any issues, let me know in the description and I'll help you out. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later.